Well, good evening, everybody. It's Chris here from the Whistle Stop Cafe in Muir, Alberta. Sound check. Can you hear me? Of course you can hear me. I see the little green dots near my face in the StreamYard icons. Well, it is Sunday, May 3rd, and we're going to do another weekly wrap-up or the Sunday Night Seconds show with Berta Proud Dad. We spent a really awesome day yesterday at the Whistle Stop Cafe. We had a fundraiser for Let's Talk Alberta, and it was absolutely fantastic. Helicopters, brisket, pulled pork, freedom people, independence-minded Albertans. What more could you ask for? It was absolutely fantastic. Lawrence was there with me. Him and Berta Proud Mom were there. They had some really cool Berta Proud merch, and he delivered an epic speech on our really cool stage that's still there after all this time. And so that's one of the things we're going to talk about on the Sunday night wrap-up. There's a couple other things. One thing that I just saw, and I see Berta's backstage waiting for me, so I'll be quick. Somebody mentioned something about separatist leaders being targeted by CSIS. So if anyone has any information on that, maybe a primary source or something like that, I'd like to see it, because if they want to talk to me, I'm happy to text them my address. Anyway, without further ado, I'll welcome Mr. Berta Proud Dad. What do you got there?
That, sir, is an M&M with my logo on it.
That's awesome.
Branded M&Ms. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Rested up after yesterday's chaos. That was absolutely amazing. Piles of brisket and pulled pork sold. So winning.
It was great. It was great, man. You know what? I'm becoming a better speaker on stage.
You are, yeah. There's a big difference between the looking at the phone and then looking at the crowd. I have a hard time looking at the phone, believe it or not. Like, I can do lives, but the TikTok stuff, I really struggle with that.
There's a very prominent podcaster. I'm not going to say his name. Him and I are friends. And he told me, like, he's got millions of people listening to him. And he told me he struggles with this.
Yeah.
Right? With making the videos online. But you put him on a microphone in a studio, whatever it might be, he can make that shit happen all day, every day.
Yeah.
And he can. He's really good at it.
It's a different thing.
Yeah, it is.
There's something I noticed, like, just before you came into the studio, as I was doom scrolling through Facebook instead of learning another language, which I could have learned probably 4 if I hadn't have been doom scrolling my entire life. But I want to show it to you. I know that you're going to have the same response as me. And I do want to mention that it's been very difficult for me to do this, because I've had this particular image queued up, and I'm not super fond of this person. However, I will
defend get in trouble.
them. What's that?
Are we going to get community guidelines?
I don't think so.
Okay, good.
Are we?
No, we're good.
No, I don't think so.
Sorry,
okay.
I interrupted you.
No, that's okay. I don't mind. Feel free. You have to, because I talk longly. So you know this person, Lawrence. This is one of your friends, right?
Let's go, Janice. And
yeah.
You know what? I know what you're going to do here, and I commented on this. So this is great. This is awesome.
Yeah. I just want to show you folks this video that she did. Now, keep in mind, neither Lawrence or I support Janice Irwin. We disagree with her policies. We don't think she's a great politician, MLA, whatever. But we both recognize that she's a human being deserving the respect that human beings should get. And so when Lawrence and I saw this video, apparently because he says the same thing, I just felt compelled to show you folks and let you know that we don't tolerate this stuff at all. And I had to mute it, because if I leave the music on, then I'm going to have to deal with Facebook telling me that I use someone else's music. So anyway, here it is. Watch this. I'll read it to you for those that are listening. I recently posted a video on Instagram, and a response came. I would literally pay money to watch someone smash your face in. And I considered sharing some more of that negative stuff. I got to pause it. And I considered sharing some more of that hateful, the hateful messages that I get. But I thought about all the messages you sent me in response, hundreds of them. And then Janice posts some, messages of support she's received. People love her. She's loved by people, right? And they're just
Yeah.
supportive, like calling, just saying, hey, that shouldn't happen. And she says, there's so much good out there. You all remind me that love is far more powerful than hate. This is one point where Janice Irwin and I agree.
Yep.
100%.
Me as well. And, let's go back to it. I don't agree with Janice Irwin. Actually, let's go even further back. Okay. So I don't agree with Janice Irwin. I don't agree with her policies. I've been clear on that as day, and people know that. That being said, though, her colleague, Bruce Arcand, I believe that's his name, Paul, he's an MLA in the legislature, slandered my name under parliamentary privilege 3 weeks ago and said, I make it my whole life to go after Janice Irwin because basically she's a lesbian. That is false. I go after Janice Irwin because she promoted and defended sexual material in front of our children. One of my really good friends, Jack, who is a gay conservative, actually defended me on a video saying, I'm really good friends with Lawrence. I'm really good friends with Berta Proud Dad. I'm a gay man. Like that is false and farthest from the truth. But even though they were part of slandering me in the legislature and doing all of that stuff, nobody, and I don't think any one of my followers, if you are, press the unfollow button, should want to wish or think that Janice Irwin should get smashed in the face for her beliefs.
Right.
Yes, she defended some pretty grotesque things, but these are things that we can solve with words. These are things that we can solve with healthy debate. And I commented on her video on TikTok and said exactly that. You and I don't see eye to eye on absolutely anything, but nobody should ever go after you like that. And it is one of those things where we see it from the right, from the center, and from the left. I get death threats all the time. My wife has been called every derogatory name in the book. And it happens all over the place, but nobody should be doing this. And it's absolutely insane.
Yeah. Yeah. And this, I think people need to, on both sides, take a little step back and realize that the internet and social media, it's fake. Like, what did Derek say the other day? It's entertainment. It's not real. Like, this is not real life, right? And people, and I say we because I'm guilty of it too. We get wound right up about things on the internet, and it's easy to do because you when you're not looking at someone in the eye and smelling their terrible breath, you maybe forget that they're a human being and somebody loves them, even though their views are so completely contrary to yours. So I hope we don't see any more of that from either side. I know we will, but I guess we just keep calling it out when we see it, right?
We will, and it is unfortunate, and we should call it out. I think what I always go under the term hurt people, right? And when people see people doing better than them, if they're jealous, they will always try to knock you down. Now, nobody's ever going to come out to you and say, hey, Chris from the Whistle Stop Cafe, I am super jealous of you. No, they're going to come out and say, you're a piece of shit. You're garbage. You're an asshole. I want to do harmful things to you. They're never going to say that they're jealous of you, right? And what I see happens all the time is when you go at them and say, oh, you're just jealous, their response is, well, you're the last person I'd be jealous of. Well, no, we're not expecting you to say that you're jealous. You just are jealous, and that's how it is.
Word. Todd says, smashing things is for the rig only, LOL. Not other humans. We aim to protect other humans regardless of their views. Yeah, 100%. They my tool push, Terry, he nicknamed me Rig Wrecker because I actually broke everything on the rig at least once.
Oh, that's awesome. You're one of those guys.
Oh yeah, I kept.
So you want to know? I was a mechanic in the oil field, so
yeah, I probably contributed to a few mechanics' retirements.
Yeah, I love that.
Monetarily,
I love that. Yeah, but that's the thing, as this movement goes on, and we saw this, what a hell of a week. You know what I mean? This was one roller coaster of a week here in Alberta politics, that's for sure, and then in the independence movement as well. And where just simply calling out certain things that you perceive as bad had my own followers telling me to go fuck myself. You know what I mean? Like they follow you up until they disagree with you, and it's like, no, guys, like, we're gonna get the truth eventually, and the truth will be the truth, and we'll settle with that. A list was used. This is my opinion on it. It's not Chris's. I'm not putting words in Chris's mouth, and that's another thing too. I'm just a guest here. A list was used by what looks like the Republican Party of Alberta in something to do with independence in a group, and it looks like that list was misused. That's all we know right now. And if it comes out that that list was misused and people knew about it, well, those people just put the jeopardy of all Albertans at risk. And that's my opinion. But I'll wait until things come out. People are already labeling me a piece of shit for that, and just telling the truth. But when you're in independent journalism, like my friend Corey Morgan is, and Corey is a friend of mine, you are going to get hammered at all angles when people disagree with you. So tough luck if you don't like what I'm reporting on. And maybe look at yourself in the mirror and realize, do you really believe in freedom? And and that's how I look at it.
People, I believe that people tend to follow people like us because we're real, we're not scripted, we say what's on our mind. And folks, you're not always going to agree with everything I say. I angered a lot of people with my Chem Niner video that I did with my buddies Cessna Cardinal, like poking fun at people that believe everything they see on the internet. And actually, I should show you my inbox. It's full of that stuff again. It just once every few months it just blows up. But you're not going to agree with everything we say, and that's what I appreciate about you, Lawrence, is that it isn't about what people think. It's about what you have to say, what's on your mind. That's it. And I appreciate that. And
well, you're the same way, right? That's how you and I get along so well, and we don't agree on everything, but we get along so well because when we can sit there and have like a healthy debate, like we've been on the phone with each other, and I say something, and you're like, I don't really think that's right, and then you'll correct me or something, or you'll teach me something that I can go and look into myself, like that blog you do. A lot of the times you'll hear Chris say, just go to my blog, because he's already written about it. He's already done the research. And then you can go there, you can read it, and you can do the research yourself and figure out he's not bullshitting you. And that's why, you and I have become really good friends, I think, is because we respect each other's opinions. But when somebody's a little bit offside-ish, maybe we'll just say, hey, man, like, I don't think that's particularly right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's easier to criticize people who are like polar opposite of us than it is to, tell our own friends, right? Jordan Peterson, he in his book, which book was it? Like his Rules for Life book. He talks about telling the truth even when it hurts someone. Like you just have to do it, because if you lie to someone or just go along with them and let it go to make them comfortable, you're doing them a huge disservice, right? But it is more difficult to correct our friends, for sure, because we don't want to threaten the relationships that we have.
No, 100%. And what I've noticed in this past week, especially, and it happened during the Freedom Convoy too, is people now, just because you would disagree with somebody, now all of a sudden you hate them, right? You hate the specific person because you disagree. And not only that, but because, I disagree with you, you should just shut up completely. That kind of rhetoric is going on. And it just is not healthy for anything, whether we're in the middle of an independence movement or not. It's not healthy if we're in a business relationship. It's not healthy if we're coworkers. It's not healthy at any part of your life, with any relationship you have in your life. That's never healthy. So what I try to do is now distance myself from the people who are acting like that, because you know what? I want to hear your opinion if it's a valid opinion. I want to hear it if it's a valid argument. If it's just an agitator or somebody that's trying to stir up something, which I guess is an agitator, I could care less at that point, because there's enough people in my circle that I can have logical discussions with, right?
100%. We'll save the illogical discussions for the ones that are like completely Looney Tunes on the other side of everything we say.
Agreed.
Steve, our friend Steve, asks, why don't you have super chat in your stream, Chris? Number one, I didn't even know what a super chat was. I never really used YouTube because they immediately canceled me when I tried to tell the truth about the COVID jab. It was only like last year that I really regained access, and I never built it because I was just pissed off at them. So I think the reason why I don't have that is because I probably don't have enough followers. I've only got like maybe 1,000 people subscribed to my my YouTube, which is also not the Whistle Stop Cafe name. It's under, I used my personal one by accident, which was Crash X1234. That was my YouTube. So that's, I think that's
change your
why
username.
You can do that?
Yeah, we'll figure it out together. I'll get you set up because yeah, I was just talking to another creator today about YouTube, and he was asking me a bunch of questions, and yeah, went from there. Like I started posting my long form content to YouTube, all my podcasts, and I was monetized within 3 weeks. But the thing is YouTube is a great way too for our followers to support us as well, or going to, going to our websites or whatever it might be, because there's a lot of them out there, like let's talk about yesterday, for instance. Man, it like what an event that was. I was absolutely amazed when there was like 5 helicopters there, dude. Yeah. And, some of my followers own those helicopters, and they're like, hey, finally good to meet you. And I was asking everybody where they came in from, right? Like, where'd you come in from? Where'd you come in from? One guy's like, I came in from Bonnyville. I flew my helicopter in. I was like, that's wild. That's awesome. So the helicopters were there, and I was talking to people, and I always ask people, where do you watch me? What platform do you watch me on? Because I'm on everything. And a lot of people told me where they were watching me from. And then they also said, we support you every chance we get. And that's awesome, because those are the ones that actually realize that this is a lot of work to actually, well, one, the average person cannot put themselves out there, right? And in the new cancel culture age that the liberals are doing, the average person is unwilling to put themselves out there with their values and beliefs and actually stand on that. And because it's a hard thing to do, man. Like when you start getting a recognizable face, you still have to go to, like today, I spent the whole afternoon on the ball field, got a little bit of sun for my daughter. You still have to go out there. Yeah, there might be some nutso out in the crowd, but not today. Today was all about shaking hands and people saying thank you for what you do. But the thing is, your employer might look at it. This cancel culture world we live in, people want to dig into your past. People want to do stuff. So the people that say, oh, anybody can do what you do. No, that's false. That's absolutely false. And we see it with all the private accounts on the internet of people talking shit. Because if we knew who their identity was and who they were, they wouldn't be talking shit. It's that simple.
That's right. Yep. It's a good thing that nobody knows what my face looks like, right?
Absolutely. I love that. So did I tell you what happened yesterday? I was walking by that thing, and some guy's like, hey, there he is. And you know how like people recognize me, right? So like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. And he's like, well, you're not Chris. Humbled the shit out of me, which was awesome. And I should be humbled all the time. And I was like, wait a second. I went and stood next to it. I was like, we look the same. We literally look like brothers. We could be brothers, man.
Yeah, we could. I'm just going to pop up a quick video that Alberta Radio did.
Yeah, he was there. He's a beauty.
I wonder if I could turn the sound on for this. Wow, let's see what happens.
Nope.
What was going on? There's the whistle bus. They're serving brisket, pulled pork. Awesome. That's my pig roast. Yeah, there's just Alberta patriots everywhere. It was a sea of blue flags, helicopters.
I will not give up my land for your war. Your dirty politics, so you greed.
There you are.
The high taxes of Quebec.
Hey, it's me.
My family built this land from old European.
Yeah, what a beautiful day too. It was 20 degrees, just perfect blue sky.
I'll say this once.
Loved it.
So listen close.
Shane and all the volunteers, they got the stage looking good again. It was pretty Saturday for winter.
Stay free, Alberta.
I've never heard this song before. It's,
me neither.
Bow my knee or give my freedom to Ottawa. I will not bow.
I hear you, Steve. I hear you, buddy. Thanks for super chat, by the way.
I see the scars in the land from your war.
Another
From Fort Calgary to your last stand.
Yeah, so that was that's awesome, Steve. You're 100% correct. Steve's become a bit of a celebrity himself just from commenting. People were like looking for him at the Whistle Stop because he's a common commenter on our stuff. That's neat.
Yeah. We got Sandra in there, said, "Hey Chris, hey Berta, proud dad. I'm glad to see you two gentlemen team up on voices like and videos like these. Welcome to the Sunday night recap. This is going to happen every Sunday. You're going to have Chris Scott, myself, and then like we did the other day, sometimes Chris is like, hey, we should go live about this, or I'm like, hey, we should go live about this, and then we just go live.
Yeah.
But Sundays are going to be scheduled.
Mm-hmm. And it was we had to talk about that, right? Because that was some serious buzz. People were freaked out. They didn't know what to think. And I think it's good that we talked about it just to kind of, calm people down a little bit. And back to what you said, you kind of opened with that. What's going on with that? And I've been thinking about this quite a bit, and I want to make sure people understand. Like, the NDP is saying this was a breach, like the Centurion Project thing was a breach. It wasn't a breach. Nobody breached anything. No. It was a list that exists, and I'll tell you right now, the NDP has it, the UCP has it. Anyone who is running for politics or anything has that list. They've all got it. And if you think for one moment that those groups or some of those groups don't do things that they're not supposed to do with that, I've got a bridge to sell you.
Yeah, 100%, 110%.
Not saying it's okay, but I just want to point that out.
Yeah, for sure. And those lists are supposed to stay with political parties, though, right? They're not supposed to go to, like, for instance, I shouldn't have access to that list,
right?
Ever,
yep.
Right?
Yep.
Or you, and that's kind of where the problem lies with me. And it was just unfortunate timing for sure. But again, I like to remind people, they were just one little offshoot that just got started in this whole thing. There's people who have devoted years and years and years to Alberta independence. There's also people that have been traveling around the province, speaking at different events. And not only that, we won't forget about the canvassers who stood out in the blistering cold and the wind and the sleet and all of that other stuff. So at the end of the day, I'm not making it about the Centurion Project. That's not what I'm here for. I don't even care at this point to discuss it until we see more evidence. I want to sit here and talk about Alberta independence and how this movement doesn't belong to one group. It belongs to every Albertan. And I've been clear about that. I said it on stage yesterday. I'm going to say it on stages in the future, and I'm going to say it on my shows and in these ones as well. It's not Stay Free Alberta's project. This is not Centurion. This is not Let's Talk. These are groups that are doing initiatives to educate people, to get people to go vote in October. But Alberta independence, it's going to be you that stands at that polling station. It's going to be you that puts your vote in, whether that's yes or no. And we just want you to have the best informed decision to make that happen. And an informed decision isn't some influencer saying it can never happen. That's not being informed. There's nothing about that shows you're informed. I don't know. That's my take.
That's true. My kids just sent me a picture of them standing beside my giant blown up face on that billboard taking a selfie.
I love that. I love that.
Awesome. I don't know if you can see it. No, I can't see it.
No.
Yeah, so what else is going on in your world down there? Anything on the horizon? You got anything coming up?
Well, I have to go and see my parents here coming up. They're moving places from one place to another. You know how your parents get old, right? So you got to travel to them and you got to help them. It's your duty as a son. So I'm going to go and help them with that. I'm working on a couple little items, and then get my schedule in with the Let's Talk Alberta to basically, put my schedule out there of what events I'm going to be speaking at. And that's important because, I really do enjoy getting up there and speaking and then hearing from people, just for instance, yesterday I met a lady, I'm not going to say her name, And when I was up at the Whistle Stop, a month and a half ago, she had told me, you're getting very angry. You're doing this, you're doing that. And I like constructive feedback. I actually do. Yesterday, she said, you know what? I don't know if it was me or what it was, but you got a lot better. And I'm really enjoying your content again. And I'm really doing that. And she's like, I don't know if it was me. I was like, it is part you, because I actually do listen, right? When I'm talking to my followers and having conversations with them, I do listen to them and I enjoy talking to them. But yeah, we're gonna keep speaking about Alberta independence. That's what we're gonna do.
100%. Here's an interesting comment from Chris G on Twitter. So Chris G says the movement would not exist without David Parker. Why are you so quick to shred him? Mistakes are inevitable, but he actually identified how to reach the 40% undecided. Yeah, so the 10X was something that was developed in the United States for the Trump campaign, helped him win some stuff. David learned about it when he was down there on the Tucker Carlson tour. And nobody's shredding David, by the way.
No.
I acknowledge that David has done a ton of work. Him and Cam were responsible for dethroning Jason Kenney and getting Danielle Smith elected. So we're grateful for that. But, David's one of the people that I actually had some friction with about independence. So when you say, the movement, you got to be clear which movement you're talking about. Are you talking about a political movement to get people civically engaged? Yes, David's been at that for quite some time. Although, really, I think he's only been doing that since for the last few years. He was a staffer for lots of politicians, so he learned lots of things. But when it comes to the independence movement, a lot of the people that you guys see right now are people that fought against it up until very recently, right? And there's been a lot of things. There's been lots of lines that have been crossed by Ottawa over the years, and that just brought more and more people. David was one of them. I remember having talks in the early TBA days with David, and he said, if I could snap my fingers and make an independent Alberta, I would do it, because Alberta should be independent. That would be the best thing, but it's never going to happen. So we need to focus on getting Kenney out, right? That was our conversation. And Kenney needed to go. But the independence movement has stood kind of on its own with a smaller group for quite some time. It's just recently that it really was built.
I'm going to add something to that. And that's, you have a good point there, Chris, but I hate it when somebody says this would never exist because of this one person. I'm going to go back to all the canvassers that were out there. I'm going to go back to all the volunteers that are out there speaking. I'm going to go back to every single Albertan out there who believes in an independent Albertan or an independent Alberta. This movement would not exist without all of them.
Right.
To go and say one guy is the reason for all this. I didn't know who David Parker was at all. And I've been in politics, in political spaces. I've heard his name, but never really knew who he was. And a lot of other people have been sending me that message as well. So if he was the Messiah when it came down to independence, like you say he is, I'm sorry, a lot of people don't know him, and I'm including me. And he doesn't know me, I'm pretty sure. Again, I'm not saying that David Parker hasn't put any work in, but again, that's how it'll be spun. But what I'm saying is I look back at every single Albertan. I look back at the people who believe in the movement. I look back at the people who volunteered in the wind, the sleet, the snow, the cold. I look back on the people that are out there doing the work, and I think it belongs to all Albertans. To say it would never happen because of something. And we can also go back. There was an independence movement that's been alive and well in this province since the 80s, isn't it? Or earlier. So I don't think David Parker was alive in the 80s. Well, he maybe got born in the 80s. But again, I'm not pushing this on one person. And while I'm just a guy who doesn't put people on pedestals, so that's just me.
GP5787 says all these influencers are too scared to state the obvious that David Parker sabotaged this thing on purpose. No,
that guy's just a hater. That guy was in there this morning too. He's a hater.
Was he? I know David. I've spent time with the guy. That is not the case. I do not believe at all that David did anything intentionally to threaten the integrity of the independence movement. No, that's the furthest thing from my mind. And if I actually believe that, I would talk about it. I don't recall. I don't recall ever being too scared to state the obvious about anything, even when it resulted in, demonetization on my social media and death threats. So yeah, that's kind of whatever.
Yeah. So when it comes down to that, I've already told my followers and everything else, I'm not speculating any further on it. The truth is going to come out and we will go with that. Yep. Right now, there is nothing. We know what we know, and that's it. But that's the thing about comments like that. They're so quick because their main narrative and their main mission on this is to make sure all us influencers split up because they're threatened by us. Our voice is huge, right? They're like, oh, well, you only have 200 people in here. Yeah, but every other influencer has 200, 500,000, 1,500 people in there. I get 86 million views. Oh, no, sorry, 56 million. They're down about 30 million right now due to some algorithmic things. 56 million views per month over all my channels. I'm not a little fish when it comes down to content creation. You can say I am, that's fine. Show me another content creator right now in Alberta with 56 million views a month.
Yeah, I think I have like 4, pretty low. But
that's good. That's good. 4 million is good.
Yeah, it's not a small number, right? Like the social media, I don't know if I want to even say influencers. I think anyone on any kind of media can be an influencer by accident. Content creators, they have all but replaced the legacy platforms, right? I don't watch TV. I watch stuff like this.
Yeah, and the thing is $1.6 billion a year is spent on the mainstream news media in this country by the Liberals. Just did a video about that, just released it. And these people are worried about influencers getting paid. It's absolutely insane.
Oh, no. Imagine that, people getting paid for the hours and hours and hours of work they do to bring real information to people. Wow, that would be terrible if they got paid. Speaking of money, and speaking of an industry that is set to double or even triple by 2030, that is the natural health and wellness products industry. James says, found the money for Fix. Can't wait to see if I get results. That's freaking fantastic, man. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm on the Fix. It's it's replaced, well, what I never had to go on because of my anxiety disorder. I haven't had anxiety since I started it. And I keep the Fix down here now because I'm down here every day. And my anxiety has been gone since I started taking it.
Mine is in a glass of water.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't drink enough water.
Like when you came to me with this product, I thought it was bullshit. Yeah, like all the other products that people come to me with. And I told you straight to your face, I said, Chris, I'm never going to promote it if it doesn't work. Well, I'm promoting it now because it does work. And this is the pharmaceutical industry replacement, right? For Ativan. This is basically what my doctor wanted to be put on for my anxiety was Ativan. And I've completely replaced that because I'm an addict in recovery and I'm not going to go on an addictive substance, but this thing called Fix, and it's working and it's all natural. And people who, it's funny, they're like, oh, it's an MLM thing. Okay, so you want me to go on Ativan then? Well, that's weird. Well, I hate the pharmaceutical industry. So what do you hate then?
Yeah. I don't trust big pharma, but I'm going to trust big pharma instead of natural things that have testimonies with the users. When I was presented with this, I was interested because it's nerdy, right? There's some nerdy stuff. Let me show you the nerdy stuff I did. And I sent you this right off the bat, I believe, as well.
Yep, you did.
So I wrote this blog after I did some research on this product. So it's called Fix Bitter Compounds in the Vagus Nerve. And this, of course, is on my website, whittlestoptruckstop.ca /Fix Bitter Compounds in the Vagus Nerve, but just /blog, and you'll find it. I'll read you the first paragraph. I said why I went looking, what I found, and why it surprised me. Most people think gut health is about digestion. It isn't. Your gut is a sensory organ. It constantly communicates with your brain through one of the most important nerves in your body, the vagus nerve. This nerve plays a major role in regulating stress response, digestion, heart rhythm, inflammation, and metabolic signaling. It largely determines whether your body operates in a constant state of fight or flight or is able to settle into rest, repair, and recovery. That alone should matter more than it does. So the science part of it really kind of tickled my fancy. And I started digging into it, tried the product, loved the product, and now it's become a thing. Now I actually promote it And I got you on my team. I got Dr. Lana Nichols on my team. Tamara Leach is on my team. Like a whole bunch of names of people that, you wouldn't even think, but here they are, and we're all pursuing the same health sovereignty.
Well, we hate the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah.
Right. So if you come to me with a product, the thing is, I hate the pharmaceutical industry so much that I have a disease called ankylosing spondylitis that I'm supposed to take a shot in the leg once a week. That's about $1,700 per month. That I bought a home gym and decided to get healthy and strengthen my back instead of doing all that and then taking some naturopathic stuff. So with that ankylosing spondylitis, my levels on inflammation are higher, pretty high. This has been helping that as well, right? It's not only has been helping my anxiety, it's been helping my inflammation as well. And that thing that I'm going to have to stick in my leg, or they want to stick in my leg, I don't know what's in it. And for that much money, no, I'm not doing it. I'm business for self. It's not covered. I got to pay for it. So the thing is, this is working for me. And I was talking to two people who are on my team. I didn't know they were on my team, but they are on my team yesterday, and they're on it, and it's working for them too. So it's my duty to share when something's working. I've had people come to me with products before that don't work, and I've never shared them. If they work, I share them, and it's that simple.
Yep. It's fix at
BertaProudDad.com.
ProudDad.com. I'm just gonna put your that link on the screen for a minute so people can see it, and then I want to touch on why MLM is different to me than I used to feel about it. So there it is, fixatbertaProudDad.com. It's on the bottom of the screen. If you miss it, you can always go back and watch the thing again and get it. There it is. I want to talk about why.
Go to that and just send an email. We should say send an email, and then we'll be in touch with you with everything else.
Yeah, just tell them you're interested. Alternatively, if you're on one of my channels and you want to sign up through me, you probably end up on Lawrence's team anyway because he's on mine. But mine is just chris.scott at whitelstoptruckstop.ca. All the info is in my bio and stuff like that. So as I listened to David Parker on the Sean Newman podcast, talking about the Centurion Project and what it is, he's basically saying this is so great because it doesn't need people to tune into something every day or go to a meeting. It relies on relationships people already have. It encourages people to talk to 10 people. They talk to 10 people. I'm like, oh, wow, that's the way an MLM works. Why does it work? Well, because the information is passed on to someone who already trusts you, you already have a relationship with, and so it doesn't have to be marketed and sold to them. That's what peer-to-peer commerce is. Yeah. Then I started thinking, man, there's a lot of things like that. Who was talking about it? Tanner today was talking about how Christianity became it was all over the world within a period of about a century or something like that. And he mentioned how it was because people were sharing. So Jesus told the disciples, go forward, make more disciples, build churches, do those things. They did that. Most of them died horrible deaths for following that commandment. But anyway, they did. And those people told people, and those people told people. Like the gospel of Jesus Christ was literally the world's first major MLM, right? The original peer-to-peer. Hey, this has changed my life. You should consider it. Oh, really? Wow. Hey, let's get together and build a church, right? And it really got me thinking, in a world where AI is taking over, we don't know what's real, what's fake. These types of things are going to be much more attractive to people. So someone coming to you and saying, hey, I use this product, it works for me, is going to be much more trusted than watching something on social media, not even knowing if it's a real person talking to you. So the whole business side of MPG and the company that produces Fix and Vericel now, I think that's really going to take off in the next few years.
Yeah, for sure. And I like to bring in, I was thinking about this the other day, the amount of money that the big box stores would have spent on propaganda to convince people that this sort of stuff is a scam, because it does take away, look at the pharmaceutical industry, for instance, right? The pharmaceutical industry, I'm not on benzos because of this. I'm not taking that shot in my leg because of this. I'm a lot healthier because of this. And all this is one product that you guys saw me just do it. And I feel a lot better for it. Right. And, you know, they don't like that because it's costing us $0 to sit here and tell you that. You know, how many people come up to you and say, yeah, you know what, my Ativan, it's highly addictive and I'm addicted to it like crazy and it works. You know, I don't know what the side effects are on my liver or anything, but you know, it works. Like, that's the thing is nobody is coming to you and telling you that this or that or the other thing that they're taking pharmaceutically with all the side effects just listed over and over again is working and you're proud of them. You know, somebody who hates the pharmaceutical industry, who are the people that are in our camp, who are the people who we talk to every single day, you know, we literally just, I could tell you my story. And if it doesn't work, stop taking it. Like it's literally that simple. But no one person I've talked to that joined up with me has told me it stopped working. So I'm good with it.
There are some people who, you know, they'll try something like this and they don't see or feel any results. But, you know, some people just don't have anything that's really bothering them that they're going to notice. I picked up this book when I was down in Kansas at the St. Joseph Conference for MPG. And it's written by a guy named Dr. Ben Bowers, who I met, by the way, fantastic human being. And he actually talks about like everything. So the origin story, the science translated for lay people, what the research suggests, a physician's notebook, real people and real experiences. So Dr. Ben Bowers and a few of his colleagues actually did a informal kind of anecdotal trial with things just to see what's going on with their patients. But they also, and they did this in the United States, so it's a little different than Canada. They have a more, they're more able to do this stuff, but they did all sorts of testing. So urinalysis, blood analysis, stool analysis, bone density, visceral fat, all sorts of KPIs about wellness, regarding your wellness, right? And they showed clearly that when you use these products, the certain things improve, the metrics improve. Whether or not that manifests in a symptom being diminished or something, a problem disappearing, is a completely another story. But in all cases, those indicators did change for the people that used it, and they changed for the better. So that is something to think about. And you know, I don't always think, oh, I feel less anxious or anything, but I know that in the rest and digest state, you do lymphatic draining and all sorts of interesting things that your body needs to do. So that's why I keep doing it. Right. Yeah. It kind of, I'm digging the well before I need the water is what I'm doing.
Yeah, for sure. And where I'm using it because it works.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, there's plenty of people out there that are skeptical on things like this. And I don't know how else to tell you that it works for me. And that's all. That's pretty much it. And I do know that we've been getting emails, people wanting to sign up. We're signing up people daily right now. And that's awesome. I'm really excited about that and going to hear their testimonials. And then you never know who needs it, right? Never know who wants to get off the pharmaceuticals. And that's truly why I sit here and I share this stuff with you guys, is because it's important to me too. I'd be doing you a disservice as a follower of mine, not to share it with you.
Yep. I did a podcast with Dr. Kareem Griffith. He's a prescribing pharmacist in the United States who is a strong advocate for this product and some others. And his testimonial is absolutely fantastic. I'll actually put a link to that in the description, this podcast description after, so you folks can check it out. But that's another story.
Yeah. Awesome.
And again, if you are interested, fix@bertaprowddad.com, or get a hold of me through comments, email, whatever. Everybody knows how to get a hold of me.
And Fix is PHIX.
PHIX. And don't just Google it, because you'll end up with someone who isn't me or Lawrence. That QR code that's up here right now, that is the Vericel sign up. But that'll get you to the right spot anyway. Oh, and that QR code that's up there right now, that's whistle stop, truck stop. Well, I put .com because you always say .com, but it's actually .ca because I haven't changed it. So that's my merch store, folks. Shameless plug.
You know how popular that is? Somebody asked me yesterday. They said, "Can you do this for me? Can you just say your website for me?" They said they absolutely love it, and I'm like, and it was weird being put on the spot like that.
So
But I did.
Where do you get your merch from?
BertaProudDad.com.
There we go.
Yeah, it was weird being put on the spot like that, but it was awesome meeting so many people though, man. They got James the super chat. My main problem is everything I try has worked. Used to be 600 lost inches in 4 months. Nice, buddy. Good to see James in here. James, I got one book to read, and then yours is next, buddy. He gave me a book months ago at the thing I was doing at Ranchman's, except I get so many books from so many people, and as they come in, I put them in a stack. I put them in a stack, and I read them accordingly, right? So I got one more left, and then James is the next one. He wrote a book, and he gave it to me to read.
I have some bad news.
What?
Scott McPhail says Chris is a real traitor to humanity. He has sprayed millions of people with chemicals for years and should be publicly punished. He can't be trusted and should be removed from civilization. Chris is a liar. Lawrence, you should watch who you align with. He is a snake.
Was that video you did? You did, and people believed it to be real?
So, yeah, here's the backstory, folks. The chemtrails theory, I'm not going to say conspiracy theory because a lot of conspiracies turn out to have some validity, which this does have some, but not how you think. Started in the early 2000s, and it was kind of big on the internet. Then it went away, and it came back, and it went away, and now it's back, and it's actually to the point where I was watching people talking about hanging pilots, and if you see an airplane leaving lines, you should get a high-powered laser pointer and try and bring it down. I'm like, are you people fucking retarded? Talking about killing entire airlines full of passengers because you're stupid? So then I started saying something about it, and I'm trying to explain what people are seeing, because we see things, but what we see doesn't necessarily tell us what the truth is unless we have some type of understanding about what we're seeing. For instance, in the medieval times, if someone saw somebody eat a tomato, they'd think they're a witch because they didn't die, right? What they saw was not reality. Anyway,
yeah.
So this comes up, and I'm reading about people wanting to kill pilots, and I'm like, man, this is too much. I got to say something. So I said something, and my inbox was flooded with all of the videos that I have already gone through and debunked. Some of the videos specifically have pilots holding up badges that you can buy on the internet that literally are there to make fun of the chemtrail people. So they're sending me all these things. I'm going to queue it up after. I'll let you chime in a second, and I'll queue it up while you're talking about it. But the one video they sent me was a guy. He was walking around a Cessna. I'm not sure exactly what it was. It was a twin engine pressurized small Cessna. I don't know what Lawrence just did. And he was talking about how he sprays with it, and this is where the chemicals go, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, this is obviously satire, because he was saying that the fuel tanks on the wingtip fuel tanks were where the chems go. Well, that's where the fuel goes, and if the fuel doesn't go in there, the airplane doesn't fly. So I saw it. I was like, haha. So someone sends me this as evidence of chemtrails, and I'm like, I had to stop for a second. I'm like, are they on my side and being sarcastic, or do they believe this? And then it was, yeah, here's your proof, idiot. You're one of them, blah, blah, blah. And totally were just being an asshole to me. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to show people that anybody can make a video like that. So I did a video walking around a Cessna, and I was pointing at things like static dissipators. And I said, this is a flexi nozzle. It can be for dry chemical or wet chemical or dry. And if you need to genocide a whole province, these work for the dry chemicals you need. I pointed at the exhaust pipe, and I said that the government supplies a little screw that you put in there. It's a diffuser nozzle. Like, I made up the most ridiculous things I could think of. Ridiculous. Yeah. I literally put the camera to the sky, and there was some weird, cool cirrus clouds covering the whole sky. And I'm in this little Cessna, and I was like, look, we did a really good job in making all these clouds. Obviously, there's no way in hell physics would allow that with a small airplane, or any airplane for that matter. People believed it.
Yep.
They made TikTok videos of it. I got death threats. It went viral, like 2 million views or something like that.
Yeah.
People believed it. People like Scott. And now they're saying that I should be removed from civilization. Scott, how do you remove me from civilization? Just curious.
Scott, if you follow me, hit the unfollow button. If you actually believe that video, so I watched his video once and I knew it was satire from the get-go, like the first 15 seconds of it. If you anyway, whatever. It is what it is. I have a question for you. This is going to be controversial though.
Oh yeah, give her.
Might start a fight because I've never asked you this.
Please tell me it's about chemtrails.
No. Are you a flat earther?
No. And I get shit on all the time for it.
Me too. So do you know what I do sometimes just because I'll go into flat earther groups and just say one thing in the comments, like there's no way the earth can be flat. Not derogatory, not demeaning anybody, not calling anybody names, and just see the comment responses and read them.
It's fun. Like leaving an open can of Coke near a wasp nest. They just on it. Yeah.
So fun fact about me, people don't know, my father, and I don't talk about my dad a lot. He's an astronomer. He's been published. I've been looking through a telescope since I was 2 years old at space, at the stars, at the planets. The Earth's not flat, and it's not. It's that simple. We have this thing called an eclipse, and why would every other planet out there be a sphere, and us not be? There's a lot of things that you can say there, and here's the other thing, the big one for me. If we were flat, what's the benefit for them to tell us that we're a sphere?
Yeah, and someone they've tried to explain that to me, like somehow making people believe that as making them turn away from God or something like that, because he describes the four corners of the earth, and like I don't follow it. But yeah, that's one of the more out there ones, but people believe it, you know.
Yeah,
and I see them posting their evidence on Facebook all the time, and none of it holds water. The water just rolls off the sides because it's a sphere.
Well, just recently we had that flat earther guy go to Antarctica to prove something and failed. Like he went down, this was a year ago. I'm going to try to find that video. Sasquatches, we just saw that. There's another good one. Sasquatches, maybe we should leave that for next week because maybe it'll bring people back. Never mind, we get viewers anyway. Sasquatches 100% exist.
You think so?
They're on the kokanee can, bro.
That's a really good point. Why else would they be on the kokanee can? Duh. Huh.
I actually know a guy who believes that he saw a Sasquatch. And when I asked him, did you get a photo of it? And this is like in cell phone days. Like this is like a year and a half ago. I asked him, did you get a photo of it? No. Okay, well, carry on.
Did you know that chemtrails are actually a problem?
Are they?
Yes, 100%.
So I am mixed on the chemtrails. I'm not going to lie. Because today in the Calgary area in the sky, it was blue, blue, blue. Right? And then on my way home, I saw a couple of chemtrails or whatever, exhaust clouds, whatever you want to call this shit. And then now it's like starting to get overcast and windy. But maybe it's just getting overcast and windy. But I do know cloud seeding exists because the insurance companies use it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The insurance companies seed storms in order to make them dissipate and go away so they don't have to spend billions of dollars of the claims. It's cheaper to put a plane in the sky and spend hundreds of thousands instead of billions.
Well, what people don't understand is cloud seeding is a thing, but cloud seeding doesn't make clouds. You seed clouds that are already there with particulates, so that the precipitation comes out before it's the size of softballs and smashes your head in, right? That's cloud seeding. But let me tell you about chemtrails. And the reason I call them chemtrails is because even though they're contrails, condensation trails, vapor trails, there are chemicals in there from the combustion of the jet fuel and actually the wear of the engines as well. So there are chemicals in there. So technically, you can call them a chemtrail. There's oh shoot, I forgot to pop that up. I'm gonna bring it up. I'll find it. What's happened in the last 20 years is, number one, our fuel did change a little bit. There was changes made in early 2000 to try and unify the fuels that were used around the globe, and they had different anti-icing, anti-static, just some additives put in there. Since then, we've actually, and this is the comment, you never saw clouds like this when you were a kid. Well, yes, we saw some contrails. I've got pictures of the Battle of Britain where there's contrails all over in the sky there, before any of this. There's two things that changed. We use way bigger engines. So the newest engines use 10 times as much, they pull in 10 times as much air through them as the older ones did. Number two, we fly way higher. So instead of flying at like 33,000 feet, like when we were kids, as a captain, we reach our cruising altitude of 33,000 feet. No, now it's, this is your captain speaking. We reached our cruising altitude of 41,000 feet. We're way higher. And that's not a problem, except for way higher means we're actually out of the troposphere and we're into the stratosphere. Now, what's really happening, this is actually happening, folks, and it's a problem. All of that exhaust, that high, there's tons of bad stuff in there. Graphene oxide is one of them, like it's in soot. It stays there. It doesn't come down in weeks like it does in the troposphere. Stuff in the stratosphere takes months to years to come down. Just over the United States alone, they burn 15 million barrels of jet fuel per day. That's 15 crazy. Million barrels just out of the US is up there, and it's staying. It's whitening the sky. It's causing problems, and these are big problems. There's actually there was a forum, a sciencey forum in Germany, and this lady scientist, I've got a video of it on my computer somewhere. She was talking about taking advantage of contrails to make more contrails, flying in the contrail producing zones, and fighter pilots know how to do that because they don't want contrails so the enemies see, so they fly out of those zones. She's saying, no, we specifically make contrails in the day to block out the sun and then make sure we don't make any in the night so that the heat can leave. They're trying to use this as a way to geoengineer. So a lot of these things that people say, they're geoengineering. Yes, that is actually correct, but it's not a pilot pushing a button. And the results are just as devastating, but all the little ants down here are fighting and telling Chris he should be removed from civilization because I don't believe with the pilots and the button. The cloud,
pilots don't press a button.
No, well, I have a fake chemtrail button in the plane, but that's a different story. The clouds, I get that comment all the time. A plane flies by, it leaves a contrail, and then it's cloudy. Yes, that is true, 100%. It's generally cloudy between noon and 3 o'clock. There's two reasons for that. Number one, if where that plane flew is already, the conditions are correct to form clouds, when you put particles in there, you need three things to make a cloud: water droplet, static electricity, and a particle to cling to. The airplane puts all of that in there. And then it spreads, just like if you take a Corona out of the freezer and then you go to drink it, it's liquid, it goes and it freezes because it has a particle to freeze on. Also, in the afternoon, as the sun comes up, it heats the ground, and the ground heats up, and moist air goes up. And right around noon, between noon and 3 o'clock, that moist air has gotten to, that 20, 30,000 foot altitude, and it starts to make cloud cover. So 100% it's affecting and geoengineering, but not the way people think. And I think the chemtrail thing is a psyop so that the airplane companies can continue to pollute and harm the environment, and we just fight about conspiracy stuff.
You know what? That's a very good point. I knew none of that stuff. So thanks for sharing that. It is a really good point. But the thing is too, like, I get what you're saying, and it is a natural byproduct, and I think they know, and you're absolutely right. Whether they're trying to on purpose hurt us, though, I don't believe, because there's a lot. yeah, there's a lot of easier ways for them to do shit like that to us than just fly planes around the sky. You know what I mean?
100%.
You know, where do you get your water from? Where do you get your food from? And they're already doing all that because, well, if you look at male testosterone, it is absolutely nosedived, and that's largely due to diet. And why would you want to attack testosterone? Well, pussies don't fight. That's simple. Guys with low testosterone don't fight. They don't want to fight back, and also guys with low testosterone don't really feel manly, and they don't want to protect anything of value, and that includes your family and all that other stuff. So it's very important that if you're a man and you are above 35 years old, I always ask, get your testosterone levels checked and see. And yeah, at the end of the day, it's one of those things. I wasn't trying to be rude or anything by saying pussies don't fight, but when you have low testosterone, I will tell you this: you are more emotional, and you're more inept to have mental health conditions and depression and a bunch of other stuff.
That is true. Yeah. That is absolutely true. And you know that the conspiracy or the theory, I'll give it that, the theory about them trying to white out the sky specifically to stop global warming, that's actually a real thing. Like there was a scientist, his name was Keith. Can't remember his last name. He suggested if we applied sulfuric acid actually in the stratosphere, it would only take like, I think it was 24 or 27 747s doing this for a week. That's all it would take. And he said, yeah, there would probably be tens of thousands of people that would die, but we potentially would save millions because we're combating global warming, right? So now imagine you're the CEO of a huge airline, right? You're paying carbon tax like crazy. Probably 10% of your revenue or your expenses is carbon tax because you burn that 100%. Much fuel. So if you had the opportunity to block the sun and reduce global warming for a carbon credit, would you consider it? I mean, if you're an anti-human piece of shit that doesn't care about ruining the planet, right? Of course you would. Now, here's the thing. Google AI and some airline companies, I can't remember which one, I think they're from Europe. They actually partnered to do some research a few years ago. It was before COVID, I believe. And what they did is they determined that they could use AI to chart flight paths, including making sure airplanes flew in the contrail producing zone. So you need specific barometric pressure, specific dew point, a few different conditions. And they were modifying their flight paths so that they could create contrails during the day. They said, if we do, they're like, oh, we'll do this, so we'll offset our carbon. That was the idea. So the conspiracy is much, much deeper and more intense than just a pilot pushing a button.
Yeah,
they don't need to push a button, is my point.
It sounds cooler if you got some Top Gun music going in the back, and then pilot goes up and he looks down and says, ha ha, and presses the button, right? Like that looks a lot cooler. But here's another thing I want you and I are close to the same age, right? How old are you?
46.
Yeah. So we're 5 years apart. Back in school, you'll remember this. What did we hear about all the time? The rainforest.
Yeah.
Deforestation of the rainforest. It was every grade, every video, like environmentalism, all this other, reduce, reuse, recycle. Captain Planet, he's our hero. You know, like all this stuff. You don't hear about that stuff anymore.
Of course
It's about indoctrination and brainwashing and all this other stuff. We hear more about, you know, gay and pride and trans because it's about indoctrination and brainwashing, right? Blue bins are normal now, right? The blue bin that I have in front of my house cost me, I don't know what it does. It just cost me X dollars. I don't have an option to say, no, I'm not taking it. But I also grew up hearing Captain Planet and reduce, reuse, recycle, and the rainforest is killing us, or the deforestation of the rainforest and all this other stuff, right? And that's what they're doing. They pick what they want to indoctrinate and they go from there. So, yeah, I'm just not. I'm going to sit here. We have so many things going on that, especially Alberta independence, and I see people have been arguing back and forth in the chat. And I've been laughing, but not smiling about it. There's a lot more to talk about on my channel anyway than chemtrails, and flat Earth is fun though.
Oh, you know why I like talking about it?
Why is that?
Because it's a problem.
It is a problem for sure.
The first problem is the pollution. Like we have a very serious pollution problem. The sky is whitening. It is causing the weather to change 100%. There are things falling on us from the sky that are not good for us. That's a real deal. The other problem is people are being brainwashed and propagandized into telling other people they need to be removed from civilization. Those are the two problems.
Yeah, you're right. And maybe I just don't know enough about it. Maybe I should educate myself on it with all the spare time I have.
There's so much time to do that. Yeah.
And, but yeah, there is a lot of problems out there, and, you know, we're not getting any healthier as a species. I can tell you that. And that's both mentally and physically. We are not getting any healthier as a species.
No, we're not. We think we're getting so enlightened.
Yeah. Here's a perfect story for you, Chris. So when I went to rehab, right, to get clean and learn more about myself and, you know, deconstruct my whole life and everything else and look into my massive depression and all this other stuff, they put me on antidepressants when I was in rehab. Never taken them in my life. So I went on antidepressants and I went through this because I was depressed. I was clinically depressed. There was a lot going on. About a year out of rehab, I went to my doctor and I said, I want to go off antidepressants. And he's like, okay, we can do that, but we got to scale you back. And I'm like, what? Scale me back? He's like, yeah, well, it's addictive. Antidepressants are addictive and we can't just take you off of them. You're going to go into like a nosedive. I was like, okay. So we went off antidepressants and it was good. It was awesome. It took me 6 months to go off antidepressants. I haven't been on them since because I learned all the tools and the skills that I could about me to get better, right? To manage my own life. So then I started sharing. I'm like, hey guys, just want y'all to know, over the past 6 months, I took myself off antidepressants and I got attacked. Like
really?
Verbally abused for telling, how dare you tell people that you're going off antidepressants. Now people are going to get off antidepressants. Their life is going to crash and it's going to be terrible. It's going to be whatever. I told my own family member that I went off antidepressants. They're like, well, I need mine. I'm like, yep, they're addictive. That's literally what I said to myself. And I'm not telling everybody in the world, go off your antidepressants. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm none of that. But I did. I don't take them. And I have a pretty good life. And you're talking to a guy who gets death threats on the daily, who was in massive depression and no longer needs them, right? But that's what I'm saying is there's such a cult following for every pill that somebody is on because they have to justify it. I myself, and I'm not saying people can't take their pills, it's their life. I don't want to take any pills. That's my difference, right? And I want to try to be as healthy as I can. I was 260 pounds, man. And I took my life back. So, you know, at the end of the day, I do notice that with everything, if you're doing something the same as somebody else and then you come out, it's like no different than my cocaine addiction. Do you think I talk to anybody I did cocaine with anymore? No, because, well, they don't want to talk to me. I'm going to tell them to get sober, right? I'm going to tell them there's a better life. I'm going to tell them that you can do something else or try something different. Nobody wants to hear that shit because they have all the answers because their doctor who prescribed them a pill told them so.
Yep.
That's how my brain works.
And this is one of the reasons why we have such a hard time with the health bureaucracy in Alberta and in Canada today. It's because 50% of our budget for health is 50% of our provincial budget. That's a huge number. The prescription drugs component of that is roughly 10% of it. It's about $2 billion. Our health services actually get drugs at a 90% discount from pharmaceutical manufacturers. All they have to do is guarantee that they'll treat diseases with the book that the pharmaceutical manufacturer gives that say that you use this drug. So it's a 90% discount. If they didn't have that, the amount of drugs that we go through in this province would be $20 billion. The entire budget is $21 billion for health. People are addicted to drugs. The government is addicted to drugs. They want their drugs. And if that was threatened, how many millions of people across the country would be demanding to get their drugs of one drug or another? And I'm not saying that they're all bad, but we have this idea. We are mentally addicted to the idea that a pill will fix what ails us.
Yep.
Whether we realize it or not.
Yep. And that's all indoctrination and brainwashing, right?
Yep.
You know,
the greatest marketing gimmick ever.
Yep. It used to be such a prestigious thing to be a doctor, right? I have doctors in my own family. My cousins, I got 3 cousins who are doctors, and prestigious. Everybody wants to talk to the doctor, right? Because the doctor knows so much. No, they don't. They know what the fucking book told them. That's what they know. And and nowadays with the AI technology and everything else they're bringing into it, it's now what AI is telling them. And it used to be this prestigious thing. COVID kind of ruined that, though. A lot of people. Like my family doctor, though, beauty, no force of nothing. Your body, your choice. You do you, boo. And he kept his clinic open, didn't get in shit. And it was he wasn't refusing anybody, but he wasn't sitting there saying you need to take this. That my rheumatologist told me that I had to take it. I told him to get effed. But the thing is like, you know, he's a great doctor, and there's a reason I have him as a doctor, is because he is one of those doctors who is faith, family, freedom for him. And he's probably watching right now. So hi, nice to see you. Cause he watches me. Nice. But yeah, him and I've had this conversation. Doctors used to be this prestigious profession, but people wake up eventually. Like the scam can only go on so long. Right. And then people start, okay, we're questioning it. And that's why, again, we talked about $1.6 billion going to the mainstream news media. That's why they got to increase that every year, because people are waking up to it, and they got to spend more money to combat it. And now they're trying to silence guys like us because we have influence and we have a voice and we have people watching us and people trust us and yada, yada, yada. So they're trying to, you know, demoralize us and say we're the scammers. And I always say $1.6 billion goes to the mainstream news media every single year, and you're worried about influencers getting paid.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Selling a t-shirt, making $14 on a t-shirt.
Yeah, making $14 on a t-shirt or $10 on a t-shirt, whatever it might be. You're fucking worried about that. Well, the government is spending $1.6 billion on mainstream news.
Yeah.
Your priorities are messed right up. Absolutely, if that's the case.
Yeah, you know, I had a really hard time with watching like people who I believed were good doctors telling me, "Oh no, you should definitely take that. You really need to take that." And I'm like, what's the chance of me having a problem? Yeah. Oh, well, you know, it's not about the statistics. I'm like, yeah, it actually is. It really is. It is about that. Anyway, I had a problem with that. You know when it changed, though? I think I know when it changed. It was when the pharmaceutical companies got so big that they could effectively lobby federal government to make sure that everything was treated with drugs.
Yeah.
And then the book came and the instruction manuals came, and our doctors stopped being, you know, researchers and scientists. Back in the day, being a doctor meant you might try something to cure someone or heal someone that didn't exist yet. You know, that's how off-label use of aspirin for heart attacks came about, because a doctor was using science. They don't do that anymore. They do a little bit, but look what happened during COVID when doctors are like, oh, hey, you could use this and we can cut our hospitalizations from COVID by 90%. They were fired for that. Right? So it's a lot different. And I think that's why it's not as prestigious.
Yeah, I agree with you 110%. It is one of those things, right? But, there's our Thomas Arthur Fuji. Oh, that fucking loser. That's what he is.
I don't know him. But there's a real fight going
he
on.
wishes he had my views, that guy. That's why he
Oh,
comes in
that
here every
guy.
Sunday. Yeah, he wishes he had my views.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see there's a real debate going on in the comment
I
section
see it
about
too.
whether or not Alberta can leave. I just love that stuff. Someone
Yeah.
saying, Alberta can never leave because of the Supreme Court. Oh, my goodness. You guys don't know international law? Man. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
But
that's
it's
the
pretty
thing
spicy
too.
in there.
People put so much trust in the law, right? So much trust in the law. Like our Thomas friend there who sues everybody or threatens he's going to sue everybody that calls him out. Meanwhile, he's an agitator and a shit disturber. We're going to run into each other one day, Thomas. We are. And you're going to cry like you did on that video with the cops. You are.
Did he cry?
He did. I still have that
Oh.
video.
I feel so bad about him crying.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Poor guy. Oh, well.
He even said something like, "You touched my private parts" or something.
Oh, did he hold up the doll and show the man where they hurt him?
Yeah. And he's going to have his camera on and then he's going to try to sue me. And so these are all recorded, right? So we'll see what the future holds for Thomas and I. I'll probably be in court with him one day because he had some fucking lawsuit because his feelings got hurt.
Wow. If I could sue someone every time my feelings got hurt, I'd have won like one lawsuit by now.
Yeah.
On another note, did you hear about the donation that's coming for Let's Talk Alberta?
No, I did not. Yes, I did. But yes, you should talk about it.
Yeah, there's a lady who has a few properties, rental houses. She's selling one of them in Blackfalds, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Blackfalds or Lacombe? Blackfalds, yeah.
Yeah.
And she is so on board with the idea of educating Albertans on the merits and benefits of independence and getting this conversation to everyone with Let's Talk Alberta. She's donating 25% of the proceeds of the house sale.
Good for her.
So
that's
we can
awesome.
fund events.
Do we have the listing or anything like that we could be sharing?
Not yet. It's coming. I think it'll be listed next week.
Awesome.
I had her meet with Shane and a realtor to iron out details and make sure it was all on the up and up. Oh yeah, Steve says it is Lacombe. Yeah, it is Lacombe. Sorry, okay. It's all on the up and up, and it's legit. So once that happens, we're going to be booking venues right through probably till October. We're going to be rocking and rolling on the billboard campaign, which I'm hoping that we can use your face up there too. Although we could just use the same face for both of us, apparently.
Yeah.
And we'll just give her. It's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's that's what this takes is there's people that sacrifice their time and their energy and things like that to advocate, to do these movements. And then there's people that they support financially, and if both didn't happen, nothing would happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right. And then you're always going to run into people who just want to troll you or use you for clicks and likes and do all this other shit. And I guess that's the name of the game though, right? Like, for instance, I get threatened to be sued so many times that I have people in my corner that have told me, if you're ever going to be sued, we'll cover your legal fees, right? Like they're literally lawyers that follow me all the time and they appreciate what's going on in the channel. And nobody's ever sued me though. They've threatened it over and over and over again because they don't like my opinion on the internet, because eventually they go to a lawyer and the lawyer's like, so Berta Proud Dad made you cry. Probably doesn't say that, and now you're just going to send him a letter? I don't think a guy I've never even got a cease and desist letter. I had a guy tell me one time to take a hat off my website because it was similar to his hat. And I said, okay, can you send me your hat? And he never sent me the hat. He never sent me an image of the hat that he was talking about. I said, can you send me your website so I can just check it out? He didn't do that either. Turns out he's probably just a hater who just was trying to cause shit, right? So at the end of the day, the internet it's so new, actually. Content creation is still fairly new that people are still trying to navigate that part of it, right? So it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, Thomas, you should just really, honestly, keep actually doing what you're doing, because this is actually the only time you get to see me is in Chris's live. So
I like it. I mean, these folks, some of them are hating. I'm loving this guy that thinks he's some constitutional lawyer talking about why Alberta can't leave.
that is
Every time
funny.
he comments, it drives up the algorithm. It's fantastic.
Yeah. What did Steve say here?
Steve says, is there any video on the
No.
Mitch Jason debate? It wasn't Mitch, it was Keith Wilson.
Keith Wilson. And there is no video on it because that was a private event, but there is one happening. I got tickets for it in Calgary.
I should get tickets for that. I actually got an invite to join the group that hosted this event, the one that just happened.
Nice.
What is it called? Civitas?
I think so,
Jason
yeah.
Kenney actually was one of the founders
Yeah.
of that group. But it's expensive. It's quite
Yeah.
expensive, and I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah, no, I've been invited. I got invited to something, it had nothing to do with that. People must think I'm rich or something. It was like this group of influential people. I didn't know anybody on the list, but it was like $10,000 a year, and I'm like, no, I don't have $10,000. I sell T-shirts. You know what I mean? Like, no, I don't have that. So yeah, I didn't join a group.
Yeah, that's too rich for my.
I think we have our own group. Like, we have a really good group of people that we talk to. We discuss things.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this guy a little bit of airtime here because this is a great comment. I get it lots, even on the Let's Talk Alberta tour. So, Toonline Motorsports, who is madly commenting as if he's a constitutional lawyer in the comments. Thank you very much for your participation. Says, recognition from another country doesn't override Canadian law. Under the Constitution Act 1982 and the reference re-secession to Quebec, a province can't just leave unilaterally, even with outside blah, 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 blah. Thank you for making my point. You just actually said under the Constitution Act. Alberta independence, the idea of an independent Alberta is that we will be completely rejecting the Canadian Constitution, not consenting to be governed under that Constitution, and doing it ourselves. And yes, in the reference case, and as shown in the Clarity Act, a province under the Constitution can't unilaterally leave. However, if there is a clear question and a clear majority, that would trigger negotiations with the federal government that may result in secession. And that's as far as it goes. Why is that as far as it goes? Because after that, if the will of the people is that they no longer consent to being governed under that structure, yes, all you do need is two sovereign nations to recognize. And we have that already. That's going to happen. And if you disagree with me on this, this is well established in international law. As a matter of fact, Canada has recognized other countries that have gone down this path more than once. And if it wasn't that way, if it was always the parent country or parent region that had to decide if the independent-minded region could leave, no other countries would ever be born. That's just not,
right.
That is not the way it works. So this is one of those times, Lawrence, I said it once, I'll say it again. All of the things that people say are reasons why Alberta can't, shouldn't, or won't be independent can easily be turned around as to why Alberta will and must be independent. This is one of them. And I say that because if people are trying to say, you can't leave, the will of the people will not be respected because of this law, that is every reason why that law shouldn't apply to those people, period.
Yep. 100%.
So,
I totally agree with you. And that's the stuff that pushed me towards independence, is listening to you speak and listening to the stuff and then actually researching it for myself and seeing it to be true. But you always have the people that think they know more than you. And well, because they watch CBC, right? The guy's name is Tune In Motorsports. Hardly a constitutional lawyer, just a guy with an opinion, and that's okay. You can have it. Just
and
like our buddy Tommy.
Yeah, I'm happy he puts stuff in the comments and challenges it, because that's just an opportunity to talk about it, right? And, you know, he is right about one thing. When Alberta leaves, that will require an amendment to the Constitution. But that's no concern of Alberta. It's completely irrelevant to Alberta. Alberta, we're actually going to write our own Constitution. Canada's never done that. Canadians have never done that. Did you know that, Toonline Motorsports? Canadians have never written a Constitution. They've never outlined how the government may govern them. They've never consented to being governed. It was imposed on Canadians by the British Crown, by an act of British Parliament. It wasn't even a constitution. It was the British North America Act imposed on the people without their consent.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a real exciting time.
And this is why I tell people we actually don't have rights. We have privileges granted to us by the Crown, and that's exactly what it is, because privileges can be taken from the Crown at any single time. That's the way it works. We lost against the British.
Yeah.
The British just came in and took over. The Americans, they won. They won. And they got rights, real rights. And not only that, they could have continued on and taken over the King of England at the time, because they defeated the King of England. They could have literally gone to England, fought, and won, and took in England as well. They didn't. Because it wasn't about that. It was about being sovereign and having their own land and having their own rights and the will of the people.
Not paying 2% tax.
Exactly. That's what it was about.
Yeah. And in our deal, we were about 100 years later, and the British had already got their asses whooped. Like that was a real embarrassment for the British Crown, losing the colonies like that. So when Canada, and actually what you said before is, what did you say? How did you put that? It was imposed, or we didn't get a choice, or whatever. That might have been appropriate at the time, because we were pretty busy building and settling and surviving winters, and probably too busy to worry about those things. So whatever, we're infantile. We needed daddy to govern us. Maybe that was okay. But the Crown had just had their asses handed to them by the British colony, or the American colonies. Mm-hmm. So when it came time for Canada, when Canada was grumbling about governance and self-governance and independence, rather than fighting about it, the British Crown gave us the illusion of self-governance. Now, why do I say illusion? Because if you tell people they self-govern and you tell them you must make your laws, but then when you make your law, it has to go through a governor or a lieutenant governor and then go get royal assent from a sovereign, that means you're not actually sovereign. It means you're still a subject. You just have the illusion of self-governance. And you might be saying, oh, well, it's just a formality. No, that it's not just a formality. Sovereignty means there are no formalities like that. And that's what people have to really get through their head. Maybe it was okay back then because the monarchy was a unifying thing for the Dominion of Canada, but things have changed. We've grown up. Alberta doesn't fit, and we want out.
Yeah, well, we'll just look at your backyard. You say it so plainly, and you're very professional in how you say it. I just tell people, where's Alberta's seat at the table?
Yes.
Right? Where's Alberta's seat at the table? We've been electing conservative politicians for how long, and we're still getting screwed in the West. And it's not just Alberta; it's Saskatchewan, it's Manitoba, it's British Columbia as well. But I live in Alberta, and I care about Alberta and Albertans, and we want a seat at the table. They won't want to give it to us. They don't want to take it seriously, but they sure are now. Mark Carney gets briefed daily on the independence movement in Alberta. He's briefed daily on this.
Do you think him and Thomas Lukaszuk talk to each other on the phone? Do they call each other at home, do you think?
Absolutely not. So what I heard about Mark Carney is he's a prick. He's a prick. He's a silver spoon boy, and his shit doesn't stink. And you have to do things a certain way around him, and he expects it. That's basically how he is going in camera, or he's turning the cameras off in committees. He's basically, robbing Canadians of the truth and transparency through all these committees and stopping all investigations into the Liberal Party, because, we all know how we even got to this point with Mark Carney being prime minister was this little thing called the Green Slush Fund. Justin Trudeau was creating a fund to pay off his friends. And then when he was going to be confronted on it, he quit. Nobody talks about that. But now all investigations are going to be stopped because idiots literally crossed the floor and people cheered for it. So I just want to chime in to Tune In Motorsports real quick. You're just an idiot. I've been watching all the stuff you said tonight. You're just
too fast for me.
You're just an idiot. That's all you are. You're what we call an agitator. You don't know your laws. You don't know anything about the history of Canada, and you're just here to agitate because you're probably, I don't know what you are, off your meds or something. You haven't added anything to the conversation here, though, out of everything you've said. But thanks for helping the algorithm through comments, though. Appreciate that.
I'm curious where he's from, and if he wants to learn, here you go. This is a very long blog, and it outlines a lot of the things that we've just said. Feel free to fact check it. Send me notes if I'm wrong somewhere, but I spent a considerable amount of time on this. The meat and potatoes of it is this. I started with the theory that Canada was not founded for the people, rather it was created for the Crown's interest. And I did a bunch of research using ChatGPT. It was absolutely amazing. I did like 2 years worth of research in 2 weeks, and I supported my argument. So feel free, check it out. There's some other, there's some other really good articles or blogs that I wrote on independence subjects, like this one here, Alberta and Ontario GDP fiscal balance and structural risk. It outlines why Alberta isn't just a light 15% of GDP. It's much more valuable than that. That's a good one. And where's the other ones? Sorry, I got a few pages here. I took some time and I put together, using AI, because that's all I have time for, why treaties were meant to free people. They were never meant to keep people caged on reserves. And This article here I wrote describing why independence it gets us back to there. And that goes along with why First Nations stand to benefit the most in an independent Alberta. And then all things Alberta independence answered. Another one on Alberta independence, education before emotion. All of these things I do try quite hard to put my thoughts into something that people can reference and chew up and spit out if they need to.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about Tune Line Motorsports. You have a channel. You are fully free to go out and tell people they're stupid, tell people that they should have went to school, tell people that they should look at the Supreme Court. You're fully able to put yourself online every single day and do that as well. Instead, you come into chats, and by the looks of it, absolutely nobody in here agrees with you, maybe one person. But the thing is Chris has already given you proof and explained things to you, and that's where your ignorance comes in. And we run into people like you all day, every day. You're not special, right? You're not the first one to tell us we should go to school. You're not the first one to tell us that Alberta independence will never happen. But you are alike in all the other people is you don't make content and you just sit there in comment sections, because that's what you guys do. Right?
But thank you for being in the comment section.
Yeah.
I mean, at least you're watching.
So rude, Berta. Chris and yourself are also not the official experts on the subject either. Never said I was, never said I was going to be. I do have a channel and I do talk about my opinion. You sit here and you continue to watch, and that's what you'll do for the foreseeable future. And I love you for that. And God loves you too.
Yeah. And no, I'm not an official expert. I'm just a average guy who reads and learns. If you think that I'm wrong about something, you can challenge me on it. Feel free. Mm-hmm. I do like to learn.
Yeah. Well, we've been an hour and 35 minutes into it. Tune's been here the whole time. The person you just showed has been here the whole time. That means they're fans. So they don't like us, but they watched us for an hour and 35 minutes tonight. So I am going to give you something. You just need to email me. And you can get to my email address at getbent@bertaprouddad.com. And be sure that one of my many employees gets back to you as soon as possible. And we'll send that product out to you.
I'm gonna send an email to that and see if I get a reply.
Yeah. There we go.
And my merch store, folks, my second merch store is over here. Oh shoot, wait, oh no, oh man, I'm busted. Oh no. Oh. In one of the videos that I was sent, there's a pilot wearing an oxygen mask holding that badge up like, yeah, look at me, I'm making fun of the people that think that we press buttons and kill people. And that literally came into my inbox as proof. I I just couldn't. I don't think I responded. I tried to find it. I couldn't find it. But anyway.
Yeah, it's I remember that video, man. I remember that video and watching the first 15 seconds of it. I knew it was what you were doing, because that's what you do. And if people actually get to know you as a person, like I know you as a person, I know when you're being sarcastic. I know when you're being serious. I know when you're doing satire, right? And some people just, the way I look at it is when people like that guy that commented today, they already don't like something about you. They're just waiting for that final thing that they can use forever against you to justify that dislike towards you, right?
Yeah, there's plenty of reasons people could not like me. My views on Alberta independence or my willingness to get the facts about it, it really isn't one of them. But anyway.
Yeah. Let's do one last question. Can I ask a question? Being independent, need a lot of preparation.
Yes, it does. And it's happening.
Yep. And that's the thing. It's not going to happen overnight. And that's my biggest thing. And I've argued with people about this. Like, you got people making videos like, oh, the airports will shut right down the day after they vote for independence. It's over, folks. Everything, hospitals, airports, emergency services, Army, Navy, whatever. Like, we don't even have a Navy here.
No more SSRIs.
Yeah, like no, that's not how it works. Because if we do that, we just shut the taps off on the pipeline, and you're fucked. It's not going to happen that way. All the propane that the East uses comes from Alberta. The oil, the pipelines from Alberta, Hardisty, Alberta. Like, the thing is it's not going to work. Like, it's like Canada's like, we know secretly that Alberta provides with a lot of stuff, but we can't say that in the argument against independence. You know what I mean? Like, so they just ignore it altogether. No, it's going to be a negotiation, and we're going to have to actually talk about it.
Oh, I think Toonline Motorsports is actually he's an independence-minded Albertan.
Is he really?
Yes.
Let's talk to him.
He says, when we separate, we'll no longer use the Canadian dollar. Yes, that's awesome.
Yes, that's the point. Have you seen the leverage of the dollar? Have you seen it? Here's a perfect example. Go to the United States and try to use the Canadian dollar in a purchase. Well, guess what? The United States can come to Canada and use their dollar in a purchase. Kind of funny how that works, hey?
Yeah. I get a kick out of it. But I guess it's not a comedy show, so maybe we shouldn't talk too much more about that. Or it is. Is it
cut off from our oil? Dude, we are the oil.
Oh boy.
We're already a minute, and yeah, we've been on this for a while.
Yeah, and I think I'm just about ready to turn into a pumpkin, which matches my shape.
So the most important question tonight, Chris.
Yes.
And then we can go, because I got to ask this at the end of every show. So an hour, 40 minutes. Have you been wearing pants this whole time?
Yeah, but they're completely undone.
Okay. I haven't been wearing pants.
Nice.
Again.
That reminds me of that Seinfeld episode when they would go and play pool and take off their pants and hang them up. And everyone was so happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I just like to let I remember that actually. I like to let everybody know that for this entirety, I have not been wearing pants.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I do. All right. Well, you know what? This was great. Sunday's gonna fly by again. The next show you'll see me, I'll be at my parents' house. Maybe at my parents'. We'll see. I think I'll be at my parents' house.
You're going on a vacation?
No, I got to go and help my parents move some stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah, you told me that today.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I got to go do that. Pants for Berta Proud Dad. Yes, so if you want to go and help Berta Proud Dad purchase pants, very easy. Go get a hat, hoodie, or t-shirt, bertaprouddad.com. And go, Chris.
Is right there. That QR code.
It's on the other side because you're mirrored probably.
Over there?
Yeah.
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 Right. Whatever side the QR code is on, that's the QR code you can scan. It will take you to bertaprouddad.com.
100%. 100%. Help him purchase sleeves too. You know what? I got a little color today, Jen. So I had to, I was busy actually before I came into this live. Usually I like to change and put my own gear on, but I said, you know what? Not tonight. But yeah, sleeves would be great. It was warm here today.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for taking so much time, Lawrence, and thanks, folks, for spending all this time with us. It was wonderful to be able to answer all those questions and make fun of some people. All in good fun, though, by the way.
It's always good. It's always good. People don't take the internet too seriously. You're never going to get out alive. And remember, we all are going to die one day anyway. So if you're taking this shit way too seriously and you're spending your days and weeks and months hating on people because you don't like their opinion, well, maybe look in the mirror a little bit, self-reflect, go touch some grass because the grass is out now.
Yeah, go do some grounding because it's good for you. And we got to start focusing on wellness, not pills.
Absolutely.
Fix it,
All right, brother. BertaPradDad.com.
There you go. All right. Good night. Night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Love ya.
Here comes Stumpy.
Meow.